Let's draw a stack of topsy-turvy pumpkins. All you'll need is your sketchbook and a pencil to start. You'll need some crayons later or something to color with if you want to add color and make your drawing really pop. So you're going to start with a medium length curved line that goes up the middle of your page. Next, you're going to add a dot at the bottom and then start making some more dots going up the line. These are called spacers, and they're going to be indicating where the top and the bottom of each pumpkin starts. You can make them different space apart, or you can make them even. It's up to you. I like to do the bigger pumpkin on the bottom and then get a little smaller towards the top. So you're going to draw some curved lines that come out from the top dot and connect down to the bottom. You're going to repeat this process over and over, and you will start to see your pumpkin forming. Couple tips here. It's important that your lines curve out and then go back on that original line. You don't want them to cross over or jet out too much on the bottom. They kind of drive out and drive back on that main road that leads to the dot. So you repeat that process a whole bunch of times, starting at the dot and ending at the next dot, and you're going to see your pumpkin shapes start to form. Once you have your stack of pumpkins ready to go, you can go ahead and make some corrections. Oh, actually, I forgot. You need to erase the middle of each one to create that largest, closest area. So you're going to go up and down the pumpkins. I'm trying not to brush it off too much because it makes my camera go out of focus when my hand gets too close. You're going to erase that central line, that original line we drew. It's gone. It was a guideline. Brush that away and fix any spots that need to be fixed. Oh, yeah. We're going to draw a stem on the top one. So I came out and I drew like a little oval at the top, and I'm going to flare it out on the bottom. So it looks like the stem is kind of growing out of that pumpkin. Sorry for the camera shaking sometimes. I'm going to go ahead and fix this line because it looks a little flat on the side. I mean, it really doesn't matter because pumpkins grow in all different shapes and sizes. And I'm just going back over and making corrections, making sure that my drawing is clean and neat and ready to go. Next, I have a dark and light orange here. I'm also going to grab a couple more colors, some yellows, dark and light, and some greens, dark and light. I think I also grabbed a brown pencil later on. Okay, starting with your darkest orange, and if you only have like a basic set of colors, just use orange and you don't have to worry about dark and light. You're going to imagine that the darkest area of the pumpkins are on the top and the bottom, where the light would be blocked. So you're going to color it in dark on the top, and you're going to use varied pressure. So that means you're pressing a little bit harder where you want the color dark, and then you're lightening up on how hard you're pressing where you want the color to be lighter. So each little section of this pumpkin is going to be shaded like this. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's going to take forever. It's really not. I ended up doing it pretty quick later on, but I'm doing this one really slowly to show you the process. I went over with my yellow and lightened the center, and I overlapped it into the orange. Now I'm switching back to my lighter orange and blending the colors, going over that yellow to create a yellow orange, and I'm going to do that to each section going all the way up. Throwing this into a time lapse, you can see I kind of streamlined the process by doing the dark and the light and then kind of doing all the yellow in the middle at once. As long as you go back over your contour lines, that means like the outline of each pumpkin, it will still look good. So I slowed it down for the last one to show you how I did this a little quicker. So I got the yellow in the middle, blending it out, and I just kind of did all the yellow at once. And sorry for that camera shaking. It really shakes when I bump into it. And I did the whole center, and it still looks good that way. Taking my orange and blending it up into the yellow. You can see that highlight in the middle of the pumpkin is really giving it a lot of shape and form. It's making it look a little bit more round, way less flat than it would look if I just colored the whole thing plain orange with no shading. So shading makes a big difference, and thinking about where your highlights and shadows are is a really important thing that artists do when they're drawing. You might watch an artist draw and just say, oh, they're just good at art. But they're actually thinking about every little move that they're making. And they're remembering all of their previous art lessons as they do each piece of artwork. It's like they hear a little artist voice in their head that tells them, hey, remember when you did this other lesson? It's similar to what you're doing now. Use that skill and build it up and make it better. And that's how you become an artist. Anyway, I took this golden color and tried to do a little shading. It ended up not doing anything. So I think I went in next and grabbed a brown. Yep, there's a brown. So I just added just a little bit of shadow underneath where the pumpkins kind of join together. And that gives it the illusion of a shadow and shading. And, you know, like I said earlier, where the light would be blocked by the actual form of the pumpkin. And you can see there's a lot of layers to this, and that's how artists work. All right, moving up to the stem, I think, next. Yeah, I grabbed a green and went around the outline, but instead of just coloring it plain green, I grabbed a lighter green to give it a little more dimension. And then I took the brown and kind of did a little brown section. So even though that's such a little part of the drawing, adding 3 different colors on that part really makes a big difference. To finish off this illustration, I mean, you could just leave it like that. I added some grass next to my pumpkin. It kind of starts out tall and then tapers off into little dots. And this just gives it a little indication of space. You could do this drawing for like a little Thanksgiving card or just a little doodle in your sketchbook to practice shading. I took the light green and layered it on for the grass, kind of swirling it out there. These crayons are pretty nice. You can see when I color, I put my finger on top of the crayon or colored pencil when I'm using colored pencils. That helps me push harder when I need to and push lighter when I need to make the color lighter, because I use that pointer finger to press down on the pencil or on the crayon rather, and I use that to make it darker or lighter, because varying the pressure makes a big difference in your artwork. So I went ahead and colored the rest of this in, and I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. It's a really cute little twist on the regular optical illusion lesson that I teach, and yeah, adding a little shadow. It was pretty fun and very satisfying to do. I can't wait to see how everyone's turns out. Comment below if you like this drawing, and make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for coming to art class.